Sir, we're both in critical condition. It's all up to Jimmy now. He's all that's left. You listen here, you goddamn guinea. That's not just Jimmy to you. You put some respect on that name. That's Chef Jimmy.
In the seas cooking with the ring.
That's right, ladies and gents. Okay, not only am I cooking up a fire video for you today, I'm cooking up a fire class, alright? And you want to see something even cooler? That's right, we're cooking up ability scores, okay? Now to hop into it, you're gonna want intelligence, okay? Not only are these guys gonna be somewhat ninjutsu dependent for a lot of your damage necessities, but you can also use your intelligence for your weapon attacks with these guys, so you're going to want a high intelligence. It's self-explanatory, all right? Now, as for number 2, your second highest, either go con or dex. It's either way. If you want to be a speedy boy, hard to hit, go for some dex. If you want to be a little tankier, maybe have some extra health and chakra, con's a little better for that. So, pick your poison. And past that, honestly, with the other remaining stuff, you can go with whatever. At that point, it's just kind of how you want your character to be. Whether you want them to be wise, you want them to be charismatic, whatever you're feeling. Want to be a little stronger? Shoot, whatever you're feeling. But nonetheless, go with those solid ones, and that'll help you out. Now, as for clans, honestly, since Cooking-Nin is kind of just a fun, silly class that you can play, most clans will probably work. But if you want some solid ones, Akamichi's a good choice. They're also just really solid for flavor text. Their whole thing is like eating and using calories, so, it works out pretty great. Nara's honestly a pretty solid pick. They have some jutsu that's good for lockdown, and being a Cooking-Nin, you're going to be fairly supportive, fairly debuffy. That's kind of where you're really going to thrive at. So Nara's pretty solid there. And if you want something maybe a little more offensive and a little more unique, Namikaze's really, really good. Okay, if you want to go for that maybe dex intelligence route rather than that con intelligence route, Namikaze's perfect because they give you both dex points and intelligence points. They're super speedy, so you can get around the map real quick, helping your teammates and all that good stuff. Now, getting into jutsus, honestly, kind of whatever works if we're really going to get into it. Again, you're a fairly supportive class, so jutsus that maybe buff yourself, buff your teammates, maybe jutsus that hinder your allies and debuff them, things of that nature will probably be the most helpful to you, but you can throw just about any jutsu on this kind of character, and honestly, it'll probably work. Now, for roleplay expectations, per usual, depends on the character, but some things you can kind of look, forward to and doing. One, you're a chef, you're a Cooking-Nin, right? You can cook a lot of different things, so you might be able to use food to woo over maybe a high-ranking shinobi, or maybe you can go the other way of conning someone into doing something by using food, right? Another thing that the Cooking-Nins also actually get is they have the ability to detect poison. I believe even at a glance is what the ability reads. It's not till a little bit one of the later levels, but still, super sweet ability to have where you can kind of just know if it's poisoned or not. So some kind of unique roleplay options in there. It'll also a little bit depend on what subclass you take, but overall, lots of cool, food options you can really start to look for in your roleplay. So up next, per usual, we got our combat expectations, and these guys, like I talked about before, are very, very supporty, all right? There's a few subclasses that let them be a little more aggressive and a little more offensive with their capabilities, but honestly, you're still overall going to be a supportive class. So what you should expect: 1, crafting a lot of foods in between your downtimes, prepping for those combats and those fights. 2, buffing your teammates and yourself a lot. That's what you're going to do, right? Buffing speed, buffing initiative, buffing AC to hit, damage, all those good things. So if you're looking for what to expect combat-wise, expect to be a supporty boy. Now, this video is probably going to be a little shorter than a lot of the other ones, but that's because there's only 4 subclasses, all right? A lot of these 3 kind of extra classes, as I call them, the ones that are away from the 8 base ones, don't have a whole lot of subclasses. So let's get right into it. Now, up first is probably one of the most self-explanatory subclasses, and that's going to be the Battle Cook. And you're exactly that, a Battle Cook, all right? If you want to be a lot more offensive and you think Cooking-Nin is kind of a fun idea and a fun spin on a class, but you also want to pump out some numbers, hey, Battle Cook's perfect, all right? It gives you access to a few different cooking recipes that let you do a little more damage rather than the other ones just being supportive. You also get a few extra things that just help your overall damage numbers. So if you want to be a cook, but you want to deal some damage at the same time, Battle Cook is it. And next up, we got the Ishamisha Chef. And I'm not going to try to pronounce that again. So instead, I'm going to write it right here. Look at that magic. Whoa. Okay, these guys are big about messing with initiative, okay? And a lot of their extra kind of meals and things that you can cook for your teammates tend to have special bonus effects when taken at initiative. So if you like the supporty idea, but you really want to focus on helping kind of pre-combat and like that very initial getting the jump on things, these guys are perfect for that. Now these next ones, dudes, are your herbalist, dog. Yes, I did just make a weed joke. I'm cool like that. Anyway, alright, these guys are basically a genjutsu variant of the Chef Nin, Cooking-Nin people. Alright, so if you like the idea of using some genjutsu mixed in with your foods, hey, these guys are perfect, alright? And literally the picture is like Snoop Dogg as a ninja. Okay, so what was I supposed to do? Not make a weed joke about it? It was too easy. It was too free. Come on. Okay, listen, I know these are proper chef terms, but the pâtissier chef, I don't know, man. Leave me alone. Anyway, they're basically your very typical support role, all right? If you really like what the Cooking-Nin does, like you read the base class, you're like, this is cool, this is hype, I want more of this, this is your choice. They also give you a few kind of unique debuff options for enemies, so it really lets you play that supporting role of sitting in the back, helping allies, hindering enemies, doing all that good stuff. Now, as for the Cooking-Nin, that's all I got for you. All right, very supporty class. That's pretty much their main gig. As for the other two extra classes, Science Nin and Puppet Nin, they're coming out, okay? And if one more of you hooligans types about the Puppet Nin video, it might never see the light of day. Unless you hit that sub button right now. That's right, I'm holding it ransom, okay? If you want to see the Puppet Nin video, either this coming week or the week after, you gotta drop a sub. It's not my fault, it's just the rules of the game, alright? It's not personal, it's strictly business, okay? Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.